All right, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Thank you for all of those that have allocated time to your development and improvement within just trying to get some sales on the board and increase our revenue flow, both personally, from a business standpoint, wherever you might be. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Tonight is going to be very, very important when it comes to your energy conservation career. That was a mouthful, but it was worth it. So I'm looking forward. I'm excited. And this is how I operate. I'm pretty good when presenting at knowing where I'm going and what track I'm on. So, the reason I'm mentioning that is if anyone has a question, they can feel free to raise your hand. I'll try to answer it to the best of my abilities. Here's the thing about sales. No one knows everything. I'm going to give you my best tips and tricks on how to get the job done. Um, that has helped me in the past, which also equated to low numbers in cancellation, and things of that nature. So, what I mean by that is you may not agree with everything that I present here tonight, and that's okay. But I am asking that you tailor everything that I'm going to teach to your personality. Um, we can make brief statements, but for the sake of brevity here this evening, I really just want to pay attention to more questions, and things like that. Fair enough. We good to go? I'm going to make sure that all of these resources get sent out to you. I'm having an issue here right now. Um, all right, I see some thumbs up. I'm having some issues here right now as far as getting this email, but I'll make sure to send this to Caleb, Adam, and we'll get this sent off. Okay, so here are some of my really tips and tricks when it comes to selling. And like I said, you can raise your hand at any given moment. We're going to try to do our best to get through all of these. And in the future, just so you know, I don't expect everyone to really consume everything that I'm going to teach tonight. So I will be hosting training sessions once a month, for a big group. If you do want it personally, if you would like me to critique your sales tactic, we can do a mock demonstration of how you present, and I would love to get feedback. Feedback, remember this, is a blessing. I'm not here to attack anyone, nor is anyone on the executive team here to attack anyone. But it's important that you get feedback on what you're doing. So we'll start off with this. The first thing you want to do when we are in a home and we're selling a system or anything to help with the conservation of someone's energy, we want to build rapport. You will not sell a deal without building some type of rapport when you're trying to do something or sell something of the magnitude of like a solar system. This isn't cheeseburgers. People don't wake up and be like, oh, I think I want a daily dose of solar today. It takes some convincing. So here are some practical things that you can kind of put in your pocket here on your approach to actually selling solar. Um, One of the four things that I took note of over my career was the four principles behind building rapport. Building rapport is going to get you low cancellations, very, very low cancellation rates every month, if any. And it's also going to be the catalyst of what actually sells your deal. So the four principles behind building rapport are as follows. The first one is empathy. Empathy, out of all four of these, is actually going to be the most important. It's going to be extremely important that you try to get on your customer's level. When you get into a home, read the energy of what you're walking into. Okay. There's nothing worse. For example, if you walk into a home and the husband's there which typically we want the husband and the wife to be there if it's applicable when we're selling a deal. Last thing you want to hear is, "Oh, okay, everything you told me was great tonight after you were there for 2 hours, but I need to talk this over with my wife." That's a bummer, right? Try to make sure that they're both there when you're scheduling the appointment. But you don't want to go into like an alpha male's house and try to out alpha him. Okay, that's not going to work. You're going to have to be the yin to everyone's yang, so to speak. You're going to have to understand how to talk to different types of people. So this might take some extra study on your end. There's a psychology of sale, and that's kind of what we're going through right now. So being empathetic. If a person is laughing at something that their kid did during your presentation, that's a key for you to start laughing. I know that might sound crazy. You might not even think it's funny. Laugh. Okay? If they're angry with their utility, be angry with them. If they're sad about something, you could be sad with them, right? Be empathetic. Authentic. Don't be afraid to come in as yourself, and I'll talk more about this here in a minute, but don't be afraid to come in as yourself. Most clients can sense when somebody is being pseudo or a false version of themselves, which comes off like a salesman. Keynote: people don't want to buy, people don't want to be sold on anything, they want to buy. Adam has a great analogy. We want to come in at, as someone that is trying, like a doctor, trying to prescribe something to them, something that's best for them. The moment that you come across like, hey, I'm here to sell you something, they start to raise their walls and they start to become defensive. And then you want to look for similarities. When you walk into someone's home or notice what they're wearing, look around, look around the house. Uh, if you're a person of like faith, mention that if you see something on the wall that echoes your faith. If it's your favorite football team, mention that when you're in there, right? Even if it's not your favorite football team, just mention football or just mention basketball. If they seem like a family oriented type group because they've got pictures of kids all over the wall, mention that, bring it up, show pictures of your children. We really want to come in as someone, that is authentic and a person that they can trust eventually. The fourth principle to building rapport is shared experiences. So ask them about their life. Don't get all the way down into solar. Prepare the ground for that. So, hey, where are you from? Where were you born? Um, Man, what was that city like? People love to talk about themselves. And it's our job as a solar sales company, especially when you're the only salesman in there, is to become highly curious. I wish that was a principle, but if you're writing notes, write that down. Becoming highly curious. In the banking world, they call it customer obsession. Become highly curious of who your customer is, who your client is, where their interests lie, and what experiences you guys probably have in common. Um, Me, a simple topic to talk about is food. Okay, so I'll go into a client's house, uh, and if they're Hispanic, I'll be like, "Hey, where's the best Mexican food in your city? Where is it at?" And before you know it, they start smiling and giggling, and the wife and the husband start arguing over which place is the best, or they might agree, or yada yada yada, and just be like, "Hey, I tried this one place. It wasn't that good." Yada yada yada. Just kind of going in your building rapport. The whole point of building rapport is to break the ice and tear down the walls that somebody might come in. Because believe it or not, somebody might have when you come in. Because believe it or not, when you walk into someone's house and you're trying to sell them a solar system, they're actually highly defensive because they don't want to feel like they got robbed. Well, if you build the rapport, they're not going to feel like they got scammed out of something or that they didn't get the best deal, even if your proposal is higher than the other ones that may have came in. Are there any questions so far?
No, that's good. Thank you.
Takers? Okay. I just changed my gallery so I can see you guys a little better. Ways to build rapport and break the ice. First, understand yourself. The first thing to do before you even begin a conversation is to focus on yourself. It's highly important that we learn to compartmentalize our experiences at home and our private life before we walk into someone else's home. Believe it or not, we all carry around an energy and you carry around a vibe. And when you walk into somebody's house, they can feel that. So, for example, if you've been on a slump where it's the last week of the month and you haven't sold a solar system at all, and you go in there depressed or desperate, that client is going to be able to feel that. So know yourself. Do a prep talk with yourself. Get yourself out of that state of mind so that when you actually go in there, you can focus solely upon that client. Rapport building is the most important aspect of selling. So if you go in there and their first impression of you is, wow, this person looks mad, they look all jacked up in the face, it's going to bring a bitterness and an unpleasant response in the whole room. Okay. Another thing that's not on here, I wish I'd have wrote it on there earlier. Now looking at it, just thinking about it, is work on your communication skills. When you open your mouth, the world finds out about you, right? So work on how you communicate with people. It goes into someone's first impressions of you, right? So work on how you communicate with someone so that they can have a pleasant time and experience with you. Practice actively listening. Listen plays a key role to building rapport. Use positive body language. Your nonverbals are extremely important. So when you're sitting with a client, looking them eye to eye, just seeming pleasant, not slouched or anything like that, those are highly important. Mentioned this before, looking for commonalities. Ask open-ended questions. When you are building rapport, try not to ask anything to where the customer can answer with a simple yes or no. Make sure that the questions that you do ask, number one, you are interested in the question that you're actually asking. But don't ask them anything that would make them just say yeah or no. It'll promote awkwardness in your conversation with this. Mutual attentiveness is really, really important. You may not get the engagement that you want out of the client. Sometimes we sit down with people that are just strictly business, which is okay. Don't allow the person that's strictly business to move you from rapport building. I'm going to say that again. I know it's being recorded, but for the sake of everybody on the call, you will encounter clients that don't want to build rapport. I don't care if they don't want to build rapport. I'm building rapport. They're going to make you feel like, oh, I just want to hear about the business. Da, 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 da. It's important that you build rapport and don't get too, for lack of a better term, prideful. We're just like, hey, I don't want to waste my time. I'm just going to do this. Here, I'll just give you the proposal and just leave. Wasting your time is showing up and allowing that person to stay in the driver's seat. You are in the driver's seat. Build your rapport. It's very, very important. And eventually, you'll find something that makes them crack. They want to talk about something. But mutual attentiveness, if you're not getting it from one end, make sure that you're attentive to everything that they're telling you. Clear communication, mentioned that a minute ago, but what I mean by this here is when you are talking to an individual, make sure that they're understanding what you're actually saying. Because in your rapport building, if you're not clearly communicating with that client, they're going to tune everything that you have to say about the proposal out because they don't understand where you're coming from. So work on communication skills. And then, like I said before, remaining calm, uh, having that oneness of self to where you realize, hey, look, I need to be calm, um, and have confidence that I can actually get this job done. And here's a quote. It's an anonymous quote, but honesty is always the best policy when when we're establishing rapport with someone. So resist the urge to embellish your personality or achievements or to create a facade behind which to conceal the real you. It's highly important that when you are building rapport that you are honest about everything, about every facet of your life that you're going to bring up and what's going to actually happen in the proposal. Try not to talk about yourself too much. It's okay to show off your dog and your kids or your fiance or what have you, but make sure that when you're building rapport, you're really talking about them. Okay, so here are the benefits of rapport. If you have built rapport successfully, can everyone see this? 300.
Yes.
Yes.
Everyone, okay? This is how you're going to know if you built rapport successfully. Okay, number one, the advantages of good rapport is improved problem solving. When you build rapport, when you're selling a solar system, if the customer has any apprehension or they're hesitant upon anything or they found a problem with the solar system or whatever, they have as many excuses as they want, they're not going to be afraid to actually vocalize that to you. You're not going to seem like the enemy anymore. Does that make sense? So oftentimes when a client disagrees with your approach or the solar system or is not sure if they want to do this, they'll try to hurry you through the process. They'll try to hurry you through your presentation. And what will end up happening is they'll call someone, and you might have had this done to you before. Hey, I'm just going to talk to my mom a little bit more about it, talk to my dad or cousin or whatever. And then that person will talk them out of it. And so the problem solving on that end would be they just got talked out of your solar deal or your energy conservation deal, whatever it may be. HVAC, battery, doesn't matter. Okay. But when you deliver good rapport on those steps above, which is up to you to go back and practice some of these things, they'll talk to you about some of the problems that they have. The second thing to the right is word of mouth recommendations. It does not matter if they even like the solar system or not. If you've developed good rapport and they trust you, and they'll end up buying the system and they will end up bragging about it everywhere they go. I'll give you an example. I had a good experience eating a cheeseburger at this place called Five Star here in Modesto a long time ago. At least I'm saying a long time ago because my wife might be listening. But the reason why I'm mentioning that is once I had that burger, I told everybody. I called my friends. I called my mom. Hey, you got to check this place out. I had a good experience. When a person has a good experience, you don't even have to ask for referrals. They will give referrals away. They'll trust you. They'll trust you in their parents' home. They'll trust you in their friends and family's home. Increased productivity. You're not going to have to worry about work or staying busy, or generating your own deals. Your clients will do that for you. Another advantage of good rapport is increased trust. When you develop rapport and you start to become really good at this, dare I even say an expert at this, you will be invited to barbecues. I've been invited to graduation ceremonies for clients' kids, parties. What's the thing that Hispanics do when their daughters turn? Was it 15? Quinceañeras. I've been invited to those. All types of stuff. Why? I just sat back and was just Evan. I was just me. Be Mike. Be Jose. Be George. Be Chris. Be Marissa. Be Jim. Be yourself. Customers love that. And then it also will equate to strengthened relationships. Any questions so far? All right. So although you might be thinking, man, Evan, I just really want to learn how to sell the deal. I want to get the deal sold. It doesn't matter what I show you from this point on if you don't know how to first build rapport. You've got to get the trust of that individual. All right. The second thing you want to do when you're in a presentation after you've built rapport is you want to do this process that I call kill the bill. Okay? This is how I kill the bill. These are the steps to killing the bill for me. You can implement it. You can do it in whatever format you want to. You can rearrange the steps if you like. I don't care as long as you reach them all. So the steps to killing the bill are as follows. The first thing I say or do is I show them the historical rates of their utility. So the biggest one that we have out here is PG&E. This link is going to be on this page, but I'll go to pgne.com. Can you guys still see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll go to pgne.com. If you want to know how I found this, you can go to PG&E electric rates and it'll take you to the same page. I'll go to pgne.com and this is the first thing that I'll show them when I'm killing the bill. This works, I'm not joking, 10 out of 10 times. My job is to terrify them of this bill, and I will show them all of the historical rates. Did someone
Sorry,
ask a question?
I don't think we're seeing the same screen you're looking at.
Okay, let me
Are you
see
seeing
here.
a website? Yeah.
Let me see. Can you see now?
Yes, now we
The
can.
electric rate. All right, thank you. And I will show them the electric rates. Okay. First thing I'll tell them is number one. Wrong one. Give me 1 second here. The first thing I'll tell them is number one, everything that we're going to be looking at right now are all increases. Majority of these are all increases to their bill. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Sorry about that. Okay, the majority of them are all increases. So let's see, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, how many increases you've had this year. You've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many did you have last year? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many did you have the year before that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So you can say on average, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, you're going to have about 5 to 6 increases, anywhere between 4 and 6 increases every single year. Okay. So my question to you, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, is what are you going to do? What current solution do you have to prevent these increases? What are you going to do to stop this madness? Right? So they'll tell you, I don't know, maybe get solar. That's why you're here. Blase, blase, blah. All right, let's talk shop, Mr. and Mrs. Customer. Let's say your average bill is $200. Okay. Who wants to give me the average increase out of all these increases? What's the average increase that PG&E goes up? Who knows? Or wants to give me a number?
The one from January 1st was 13. The one from April was 7 or 8%. So I think 7 or 8% is probably a good average for each increase.
Okay. So, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, I don't want to scare you too bad, but you see these 6 increases in your bill? Do you think you got a raise 6 times this year? Probably not, right? Chris, why don't you get off mute and help me out with this really quick? You mind doing that? You're good. You're going to be
Sure.
Mr. Customer.
All
You're
right.
going to be Mr. Customer. All right. So Chris or Mr. Customer, these are all increases this year. Did you get 6 raises this year?
No,
Probably not.
unfortunately not
Probably
one.
not. So, and you probably don't have a current solution to stop this from happening, right? So if they went 6 increases this year, and they went 6 increases last year and 5 the year before, 2025 is not posted yet because we're not in that year. How many increases do you think they're going to have next year?
Looks like from the track record, at least 4 to 6. Pretty crazy.
So let's just say, this conscience in my ear, I in my head, I call this conscience. I named him Adam, and he told me that, you know, your rates are going to grow probably 7 to 13%. I'm gonna be a little modest. I'm gonna say it's 6%. So let's say your average bill right now is $200. Does that sound about right? Okay, let's say your average.
Yeah, I have the
Okay,
idea
we'll say,
actually, but
for the sake of example, just agree with me.
yeah,
So
yeah.
your average bill is $600. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply that by 6%. Okay, this is how you do this, gang. The way you do that is you do 1.06. That's multiplying it by 6%. And all you do is hit equal. So let's say your average bill was $200 before, in December. In December 31st, 2023, your average bill was $200. Now, this increased January to February, your average bill is $212. Listen, look at this, gang. If you want to know what each increase is going to be by 6%, all you have to do is hit the equal sign 6 times. So by this time, it'll look like this. So here goes the first increase. Here goes the second one. Here goes the third one. Here goes the fourth one. Here goes the fifth one. Here goes the sixth one. Right? So your average bill was $200. Okay? But after all of these increases that you probably weren't aware of, I keep going at this one. After all of these increases, so this is what's on, and let me know if this makes sense to you guys. But if we multiply it by an average of 6%, tap the equal sign 3 more times, you want all 6, you're looking at an increase up to $283.70, not including the next additional 6 increases for the next year. Right? So guess what, Chris, your average bill is going to be next year that I'm talking to you. If we wait 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, your average bill is going to be $402. What are you going to do to stop this madness? And I built rapport. So guess what? Me doing this, what do you think is going on in the customer's head? They believe this. I'm not lying to them. And I tell them straight up, do I own this page? Or is my utility snitching on themselves? Right? My utility owns this page, right? So Chris, your utility is showing you that it's going to go up 6 times.
Yeah.
So now they're like, oh my goodness, what do I do?
Find this page, Evan?
Huh?
How do you find
the
that
link
page?
is right here. But what you want to do is you want to go to electric rates, PG&E electric rates, and it'll take you straight to it. Okay? This is what I recommended to all my guys that I'm recommending to you right now. Save this page as a bookmark in your iPad, in your tablet, in your phone, so that you don't have to go look for it. And then refresh it. Every time PG&E or your utility goes up in price, it's a bonus for you. It's good for you in your presentation. Any questions so far? I don't mind. If I need to go through the calculator really quick again, Everybody remember how I got to that calculator portion?
That was very good.
You like that? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it one more time, just for the sake of being thorough. So let's say you're talking to somebody and their average bill is $350. Great. PG&E historically goes up 7%. So it's 1 decimal sign 0 7. So that means by the time they do their 6 rate increases, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you went from 350 to 525. Right? This is not going to end. This is not going to stop. So you might be wondering, all right, you showed them that. What's the next step? So we've used the calculator. We've got their new deal here. Now what you want to do is you want to explain to them how their bill works. So you're going to ask them, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, Chris, if you don't mind, if you and your wife, can you guys find me a bill somewhere or log in online? Da, 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 da. What I'm doing subconsciously that you don't know that I'm doing is I'm being like a physician. I'm not selling anything. Here's the issue. I'll give you a prescription here in a minute. Okay. But here's the issue. You're not going to stop these rate increases. But so you came back and you got me your bill. It's not going to look like this, but I'll show you what these rate increase looks like. All right. So Mr. and Mrs. Customer, one of the things that you're going to find on their bill is what schedule they're on. The average person is going to be on the E1 for PG&E. What rate schedule they're on, so you could see what how they're going to be getting charged. Okay, so there's 2 types of way that you're getting charged for your electricity. Okay, there is a page on the electric bill that gives them a list of all of their charges: distribution, meter charges, generation, transmission. You know, that's what comes up to their whole $600-800 bill, and they don't even know it. Break down how their bill works. So if you're on a tier use, what happens, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, is if you're on a tier system, tier 1 allots you so many kilowatt hours. Okay. So on this bill, it'll say for tier 1, it'll allow you 500 kilowatt hours at 39 cents. Okay. Once you use all 500 kilowatt hours at 39 cents, then it bumps you over to a more expensive tier. And now let's say you've got $1,200 or 1,200 kilowatt hours in tier 2. Now they're charging you 48 cents, right? But if you're not on a tier system, you're on something called time of use. Now PG&E is trying to dictate when you use your energy, because it's not all at the same. I know we understand this, guys, but they don't. Okay, so just indulge me for a minute. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, or Chris, now they want to dictate when you actually use your energy, and they will punish you for using it basically at a certain time. Okay, so if we look at the time of use schedule over here, it says from 4 to 9 p.m. This is what they're going to charge you. Okay, so if we look at the usage, the summer and winter, mind you, this is how the rates work. These are all increases. It's going to look different on the bill. So I don't have a bill in front of me. But why do you think, Chris, they charge you higher rates between 4 and 9 p.m.?
I'm thinking that's when the sun goes down. People that have solar aren't producing energy.
That's a good guess. The reason why they charge you more during, and I know I put you on the spot, brother, don't worry about it. But the reason why they
that's
charge,
when people get home from work.
That's when people get home. So, hold on, we got somebody in the chat. That's when people get home. Great job, Caleb. He don't even sell solar. And he got it. So that's when people get home. So guess what? Guess what, Jim? Guess what, Chris? When you get home from 4 to 9, you're going to be spending the most expensive amount that they charge with your utility, because everybody needs energy. Everybody's flipping the switch on the grid. That's why this is important to know. Okay, so those little nice dinners that you have with Mrs. Harris, guess what? Don't turn the lights on. Light some candles. She's gonna say, "Oh,
Yeah,
Chris, you're
candlelight
so
is better.
romantic." You know, you don't know. You're not being romantic. You're being frugal, but it might work in your favor. You know what I mean? This is what I tell, because laugh with them, joke with them. You're their friend. You're their consultant. I'm not here to
Yeah.
sell you anything. I'm here to bring an illumination of how I can help you. Okay. Summertime and wintertime, they're different. So guess what? You need to wash all of your clothes before you go to work. Now PG&E's controlling your life. You need to make sure that if there's anything that you're going to do at your home that's going to consume a lot of energy, do it before the hours of 4 and 9. You know what I'm saying? That's when you're going to get charged the most. Or you can go on this tier system, but then you got to do you monitor how much you consume? Probably not. You just consume whatever you need to, right? So I know there's certain people out there, you know, they unplug their stoves and refrigerators and all types of stuff to try to conserve energy just because they're scared of it. So utilizing PG&E, you didn't get an option when you got the house, unless you're in Texas or somewhere else in the country, right? But you didn't get an option out here in California when you got the house. PG&E just came with it. Okay, utilizing this source, so PG&E is basically snitching on themselves and helping you sell the deal. Right? Make sense? So guess what we've done in killing the bill? We've showed them, hey, your bill's going to go up 4 to 6 times a year. Get ready for that. I hope your employer gives you 4 to 6 raises a year. Probably not going to happen. What solution do you have to prevent these increases? None. It's oh man. Adam, we talked about this a long time ago. It's an investor-owned company. They've got shareholders. They're trying to appease shareholders, not you. They don't care how many kids, pets. You know, I'll tell you right now, Chris, get rid of the dog. The dog's at least another $200 to $300 in your utility bill, right? So we showed them via our calculator, your bill's going to keep going up. We've explained how their bill works. All right, now we get to the fun part. Okay, now let's do our job. Now let's show them the money. All right, so here is your issue. And here is your prescription. Let me see if I can find it. Right here. Here's your prescription. Okay, so I'm recommending these next few steps. Okay, which are the following. The first thing you want to do when you get your proposal, number one, don't try to explain this whole puppy. It'll go over their head. Okay, your client might ask you, hey, send me a copy. Do not, I repeat, do not send your client a copy until your presentation is over. Tell them I will send you a copy when this is over. They don't know how to break this down. I know it's simple. I know it says my plan includes 7.9 kilowatt. When people are overwhelmed, they really don't understand what that means. And you might have clients that think they know more than you do. That might happen a lot. You are the expert on the matter. So they might even tell you, oh, you're wrong. Where you get, it's polite to ask, okay, that's fine. You know, where are you getting your information from? Since I'm wrong, right? If I'm wrong, where did you get that information from where are you getting your information from? So that we can compare apples to apples here. And they'll say, oh, I read online. Online has a lot of information. I study this all day and night, right? So there's only a few things I think you should show your client when you are showing your proposal. Sit next to them. If you're at the table with Mr. and Mrs. Customer, turn your iPad or your laptop towards them, right? And I tell them this. I say, if this doesn't make financial sense, I will tell you not to buy this solar system. If this doesn't work, and all those rate increases that we just seen on pg&e.com and where it might potentially be on average via my calculator does not work, or makes more sense than what I'm showing this proposal, I will tell you. Majority of the time, that's not going to happen. But it's refreshing for them to hear that. Okay? What I think you should share with your customer. Number one, system size and solar offset. So they don't know what this means. That's okay. You just tell them, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, you're getting a 7.9 kilowatt system. These are the amount of panels that you're going to have on the home. That's what matters most. How many panels am I getting? You see this 7.9 kilowatt solar system? That they don't care about that. They don't even know what that means. Okay? All you want to tell them is this is basically telling us how many panels you're going to get. Okay? You're going to get, man, how many panels is on this system, Adam, you think? Adam, you still there?
Yeah, it's let's see, that divided by 4.
It's 395. 395 divided by what? 7,900?
Yeah. About 20?
Yeah. All this means is 7.9 kilowatt solar system. All that means is you're getting about 20 panels. Okay. What kind of panels? Canadian solar panels. So this is the second thing you want to do. Okay. You want to forward the home page of that panel. Okay. Forward them the home page when you leave. When the presentation is done, give them that information when you leave. Or the ranking. So when I would sell Canadian solar panels, if they were a top 5 panel, some of the things I would tell the client is, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, these are tier 1 panels. If they ever drop to tier 2, we drop them. We give our clients nothing but the best. Okay. But as a ranking, they're top 5. They currently rank at number 3. A lot of these other things, you're just buying the name or what have you. But I'm telling you, you're getting one of the best panels at, on the market at an affordable price. Okay, printing the homepage or where they're ranking that piece of paper or whatever, or that page, printing that out ahead of time to the homeowner is a nice touch. You can leave that with them. That's something to just kind of peruse through, right? What else is on there? Okay. Enphase Energy Inc. So they're getting the IQ8s. They don't need to know about name brand on the Enphase. On the inverter. All they need to know is how this inverter works. Okay. So, Chris, you're getting 20 Canadian solar panels, what comes out to a 7.9 kW solar system. Canadian Solar is a tier 1 panel, ranked top 5 in the world. You're showing that to them, blah, 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 blah. Why are you doing this? Now they feel like they're getting quality. Like, hey, I'm not giving you junk. I'm not trying to give you trash. We're giving you a great system here. And it's going to come with Enphase Energy. It's going to come with microinverters. Okay. All these microinverters do make sure that each panel is acting individually. You know, because when we first used to sell solar 20 years ago or so, when one panel shut down, the whole system shut down. So now we give our clientele peace of mind to know that, hey, if a panel is, if panel A-5 is malfunctioning, don't worry about it. The rest of your solar system is going to keep on producing, and we're going to send some, and it's under warranty, and I'll get to that in a minute. But if something happens to your solar system, don't worry. We're going to send somebody out to the house, lock up the dog. We're asking you to lock up your dog or whatever if they have one. We're going to put a ladder on the side of the house, fix the system, take out the bad one, put down the good one, and leave. You're always going to have a good producing system with us, right? But with Canadian Solar, that they're really good. That's probably not going to happen too often. This is your annual production, 13,289 kilowatt hours. This is what your system that we're providing for you is projected to produce. Okay? Explain to them how that works. Then you can explain how the inverter or the battery works as well. Hey, any overproduction that your system might have, you have great sunlight on the roof based on where our guys have placed it on the roof. You're just going to be able to charge up that battery overnight or over the next few days. This is the system size of the battery, but you're going to have enough juice at night to where you're just pulling from the battery to where you don't have to pull from PG&E. This way you don't have a huge second bill or what have you. Okay. And then once you explain to them what their overall estimated production is, compare that to what they're already producing. Most clients want to know, is the system you're building me out going to complement what I'm already using? It is highly important that you explain to your client that because they are getting a solar system, it does not mean that they can go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs with their energy consumption. The solar system is limited. It's based on how you currently live. We could build it a little bigger if you plan on using a little bit more energy, but this is what's going to happen if you overuse. You're going to get a true up, and then you can explain how that works. And that's fine to explain. But you want to allow your client to know that the system that we have built out for you is going to be able to cover what you are currently doing. Most people, when they go solar, they use way more than what they need to use. Okay, so you really want to make sure that they understand that, okay? Then once you're done with that, you're going to cover the warranty. Hey, we've got a bumper to bumper protection on you for 25 years. Okay, we're going to cover this solar system for 25 years. This is what you're going to get. You're going to get 24/7 system monitoring. So if something goes wrong with your solar system, we're going to know before you do. Huh? How you like that? We're going to know before you do. We're going to get alerts on our end that your system is malfunctioning. We'll give you a ring-a-ding on the phone and say, hey, we need to talk to you. Hey, we need to come out and fix panel B-4, blah, 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 blah. We're just going to take it off, put down a good one so your system's working like it needs to. You're also going to get remote diagnosis. You're going to be able to monitor your own system. And once you get everything set up on the roof, I'll come back and show you how all that works. Okay? Zero out-of-pocket cost for all system components. When we ever have to do maintenance on your system, it's not going to cost you a dime. We'll take care of it. Okay? Hassle-free management and repairs and replacements. Don't worry about a thing. We got you. Look at this. Energy guarantee. Hey, Chris, remember that amount of energy we said it's going to annually produce estimated? Okay? According to our warranty, if you produce under that, we're going to help make up the difference. But we're guaranteeing that energy consumption. We got your back. We got your back, Chris. Don't even worry about it. Now you get to your favorite part. You see how I kind of took my time? Now you want to show the monthly payment. Hey, can you send that over to me? Hey, I will I'll most definitely make sure you get this proposal. Just let me go through let me finish this and I'll make sure this gets to you. Deshaun, you said unplugging needs. True? What did you mean by that?
Can you hear me, Will? Yeah, I was mentioning what you said earlier, where before this presentation, before this part of the presentation, you're saying that a lot of people had to see how to unplug their devices in order to save. And I was saying, oh yeah, that's true. That's what I meant to say. I was commenting what you're saying, where people have to conserve as much as possible by unplugging sell their appliances or more.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
saying that's true. That's all.
Yeah, I appreciate that input. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
most definitely true. People are trying to save money on their energy. And this is what now when I'm showing the bill, this is what I'm showing them. Thank you for that input, Deshaun.
Sure, first thing.
So check this out, Mr. and Mrs. Customer. How much is your summer bill, Chris? Let's just say it was $600. Okay.
Yeah.
When you open up that bill, do you know how much it is, or is it a guessing game?
No, I know how much it is. Oh yeah, yeah. Before I see the bill, yeah.
Yeah, it's a guessing game. It's like getting a present from that ugly auntie that you don't like. She never gets you what you want, right? So you're just unwrapping it like, man, what's this going to end up being, right? Okay. So what ends up happening.
Like a gift
This is
from the Grinch.
Yeah, like a gift from the Grinch. I love it. So this is what's going to happen. You're going to get this solar system. Look at this offset, Mr. and Mrs. Customer. 116%. 116% offset. You're not even using as much energy as this solar system's going to produce, which is cool. No more $600 bill in the summer. No more $600 bill. We're going to get you locked in here for $225. Okay. Now this one might come with an escalator. This comes with a 3.9 escalator. Make sure you explain that to the customer. It's going to go up, but guess what? This escalator does not matter anymore. Why? It doesn't have to just be Chris. Anybody can come on. I'll put you on the hot seat all night. Why do you think the escalator doesn't matter? They don't care about it going up.
Well, it's a fraction of what the rate increases are.
Say that again.
It's a fraction of what PG&E rate increases are.
Exactly. PG&E is going up 6 times a year. We're going to go up once. They don't care about that. Okay? And you're only spending $225 this year. That's it. Okay? So I'll draw this most of the time. I end up downloading the whiteboard. So I'll draw this out, right? If there was no escalator, you can imagine it like this. Say, all right, in the summertime, your bill is as high as $600, right? Well, we know that's going up because they go up 6% on average every if it's 6 times a year, almost twice a quarter. Right? So we know that's going up. Your low bill, okay, it's $120. Your average bill is $250. I'm coming in at $210. Let's just say that was what the proposal said. Okay. This is going to be a flat bill for you. This isn't going up. That's not going up. This is your payment. Now, if it's got an escalator, it might go up a little bit. Right? But it's not going to be you're not going to have this $600 bill anymore. So now they understand, oh man, I'm saving money off top. What's going to happen when it's over? Well, with the lease, you're going to have options, from what I understand, right, Isabel? If you sell a lease at the end of the term, they have options.
Yes.
Yes.
They're going to have options to do what? Purchase the system, refinance, or have the system. Say that again.
Extend it or remove it. Yep.
You can extend it or remove it at whatever price that is at that time. They're going to you're way better than PG&E. That was the whole purpose of killing the bill. Now, one thing I haven't mentioned yet is your client is gobbling all of this up. All they see is $225 and how much of a pain relief that is, because you built rapport. That's why rapport is so important. I don't care how alpha, how strong personality that person is. You're not stopping me out of my process. Now, you can build rapport for an hour, or you can build it for 10 minutes. I don't care, but build it. Because when you show them this number, another thing they might see is if the cash price was on here or the final price, it's going to say, oh man, man, this system's $60,000. Don't worry about that. Don't even worry about that. Can you afford this? They're like, well, I am worried about that. Or are you buying cash? Because this is something that a customer doesn't understand. Let's say this system was $60,000. That $60,000 is an expiration number on their high rates for electricity. You're not going to get, does PG&E ever send them, hey, if you pay us $300,000, we'll never bill you again? So they don't, right? So when they see that large number on the, you know, especially with the lease, this isn't even going to show up on their credit report. They're not even going to have a debt for this solar system that's going to actually show up, because they're not the ones taking on the brunt of the debt. That's why leases are beautiful. So now you're saying, hey, no more $600 bill, no more high bills in the summer. I wasn't able to beat out your lowest bill, but we got really close to it. You're going to have no more guessing games. You're going to be able to use all of the energy that you use this year and 16% extra, but we're not even going to account for that. Let that flow into your battery. But you're going to be able to use all of the energy that you need for this year, and it's never going to cost you more than $225 for this year. And then next year, it's probably just going to go up a few dollars. Because who can get me, what's 3% of 225?
$6.75.
234.25 is the 3.9. $9.
So,
$9.
so basically, your bill's going to go to $231 next year. And then that's going to be your new price for next year. Guess what this would be if you stayed with PG&E? And by that time, they get it. All right. So there's two things you can do. You can, by the time you show them this, you can be quiet, which some of you might be against awkward silence. I'm not. But you can be quiet, because the next thing that the client is going to say is, what's the next steps? Which means, what do we do now? Glad you asked, right? Or they see this and they're like, man, that's a good deal. That's a good deal, Chris. My fellow Raider fan, my fellow Niner fan, Chief fan, soccer player, chef, sweet tooth guy, whatever, right? Because you built all this. That's a good deal. Okay. So you mean to tell me, now this is what I do. I'll have them repeat back to me the proposal. This way, if I have to email it to them, they know how to read it. Right? So I'll tell them, all right, let's start from the top. Let's go through this really quick. You're going to get 20 panels. They're going to be the Canadian Solar, right? Yeah, they're going to be Canadian Solar top 5. I'm getting these Enphase microinverters, so each panel acts individually. This is how much my system's going to produce, 13,000. I only used 12.8 last year, so we know we're going to overproduce there. You're going to have my back for 25 years, and all I have to do is pay $225. Yep. Well, what do I do? Hey, man, which comes down to my favorite question. Let's get you qualified. That goes in someone's mind. Oh, man, I got to qualify for this. You darn Skippy. Right? These are the credit qualifications. Right? Or, hey, I'm going to send you a link. And here's the thing. I know some of you don't like to close the deal because it's nerve-wracking. If you really feel like you're doing what's best for the customer, you should not feel bad for asking for the business. This is how you get paid. This is how we put food on our table. Ask for the business. Even if it's, we used to call them one call closes. Close it right then and there. hey, let's get you qualified. I'm going to call my office, or I need to go and give me 1 second. I'm going to send you a link. Let's just see if you qualify, right? Send them the financing link for them to qualify for the system. And then they'll feel, hey, I got approved. What do I do now? Hey, now we're going to put a project manager on it. And there's a few steps. We got to get you from here to design to permitting, and then hopefully get you installed. That's going to take us anywhere from about 6 to 8 weeks. It takes some time, but you don't have to pay for it at all, you know, and I'll keep you updated on the process. And guess what? If they say, I don't know if I want to do this right now, next question, what do I have to do to earn your business? You don't have to just take no for an answer. What do I have to do to actually earn your business? What was it that you don't like? Because they're saying no, not right now for a reason. Right? Okay, what about the proposal didn't you like? I liked your proposal. I'm just not sure if I want to do this. So, okay, I understand. Okay. What about PG&E do you like? What about PG&E do you like? Is it the security? Because you know you're going to go up. Your prices are going to go up. Well, I want to get bids. I understand that. I understand that you want to get bids. I understand that. But listen, we got. I don't know if we're going to be able to compare apples to apples. This makes financial sense. Whatever another guy comes into you with, how do we know that they're going to meet all the criteria that I'm walking you through right now? Oh, that makes sense. People have all types of objections, but if you come in and you want to help them buy rather than sell them a solar system, it's a whole different approach. I typically don't get the response, oh, I want to get bids, or I don't know, or you know, blah, 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 blah. They typically trust me. The question I'll get is, hey, is that the best you could do? Man, look, I'm giving you the best deal that I have right now. Okay. You should not go past 3 proposals with the client. It should not get to that point. We're giving you the best, because once you do that, they think that they're going to continuously get another better deal. This is the best deal that I have right now. Not, oh man, can you call your manager and see what we got? Look, I don't think I can get any better than this, man. Like this is as good as it's getting right here. 225. I could take off a couple panels. We don't have to be at 116. I can get you to as close to 100 as I want. No, don't do that. I like that. I like that overage. Yeah, I like it too. I like it too. Listen, I can probably run you through another option and see what some other financiers might say. I have some other financing options and see if I can get a better deal that way. But other than that, this is, from my experience, this is what you need. See, like a doctor, this is what you need. In my professional opinion, don't be afraid to brag on yourself. In my professional opinion, this is what you need. Now I can probably show you some other options. They might come out cheaper, but hey, I might have to decrease the quality of panel. Right? No, I don't want you to do that. But I'll tell you what, this is what I'll tell you, man. This is what I'll tell you, Chris. Let's go through the process now. And you've got 3 days. If you don't like what you see in 3 days or like what you hear in 3 days, let me know. We can, you know, you have a 3-day right of rescission. You might say, oh, that's a bad practice. When they sign the deal, they never call me back in 3 days. They're bought in. They think they made a great decision. Okay, let's sign up. What do I have to do? Man, it's going to take us 10 minutes. And then once we get to the paperwork, hey, I can read all these legal fees with you. I don't mind. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to help you. Or you guys can go through them tonight, but I just need a signature. Hey, if you want, I can read them with you right now. No, we don't have to do all that. We don't have to do all that. I trust you. Why? Rapport. Okay. And then you just, all right, let's get you signed. Let's get you signed up. Hey, man, congratulations. Now, here's now you're going to ask for referrals. Okay. Now you're going to ask for referrals, and referrals are great, and that's what's going to keep you. That's what's going to keep you busy. But there's something more important than just getting the business, and that is actually the cool down period. Once you sign them up, don't just jet and leave. They're going to think they got sold. Okay. Once you sign them up, you need a cool down period. Hey man, congratulations. Chris, congratulations. Amy, congratulations. George, on your solar system. Man, I'm excited with you. I'm going to keep updating you. Man, this is an exciting time. Hey, you can kiss those high bills goodbye. You really can. And we're gonna make sure that we monitor your system and be good partners on our end. Before I leave, are there any questions that you may have had that I didn't get to in the solar proposal? No, man, you were good. I know what I'm getting. Da 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 da. I understand what panels I'm getting. Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna head off, but when I get in the car, I'll email you that proposal. Okay, I'm gonna email you that proposal just as a refresh of what we spoke about. That's important to mention because they're going to go in there at times and they might try to snoop and see what you might have not said. But you're just going in there as a refresh. Like, hey, Mr. Customer, you're going in there as a refresh to look at what you have. Is there anybody that you know that might benefit from this program? Let me know. We do have a referral rate for, you know, $700 a referral, $1,000 referral, $500 referral, or whatever. Is there any friends and family that you know? And what was one of the strengths of good rapport building is that they will have word to mouth communication with their neighborhood, right? Or with family and friends, and recommend you and refer you. Okay. That was a lot within an hour. And I'm going to expound on each one of those points throughout the upcoming months. We're even going to have one about overcoming objections. Is there any questions, best practices, anything out there that anybody wants to mention or ask me while I'm here on this call right now about how to close?
This was good stuff. Thank you, Evan. Very good.
My pleasure.
Anybody have questions for Evan? I would recommend, because one of the benefits is to do a personal self-evaluation. Okay, I think you can look back at the proposals you've had, and I think the minimum goal for anybody who's a sales rep, minimum goal is to have a close rate of a minimum of 30%. Minimum, and I do say that minimum. So if you can go back and you could name 10 deals, you know, and how many you've closed out of those 10 deals, then it does take a second look. You know, listening to Evan speak, you know, I've closed thousands of transactions and I thought I was, you know, I had it together. But there's a few points that, you know, Evan brought out, you know, and Evan, if I'm talking too much, let me know. But if you notice one thing you did that I've seen a lot of people, because I mean, I talk to everybody that does a proposal. A lot of people will give the price before they bring the value. They'll look at this payment. We're excited about the payment, but we'll give the price before the value. If you look at his sales tactic from A to Z, it was value before price. And by the time you got to the price, it's like, wow, I'm getting a whole lot for this price. So value before price, I thought was very good. The other thing is, you know, a lot of people, it's human psychology, human nature to give objections. But it's once they say yes, they'll be happy. And you know, they're just when you're making a big decision, you could be at a car dealership, you'll be nervous until you sign, and then you get excited. This is my car. Same thing about this, and that human psychology of objection. But if you get them to yes, then you have somebody. You have a closed deal there. So, anyways, that's just my 2 cents.
No, I appreciate it. Any input is good input.
I'd like to add, a great job. I really like the way that you kind of set a format for the conversation. If you can go back and listen to what you went through, and if the sales guys can get in their mind, kind of like the phases that you broken up the conversation with, and just get familiar with each one of those sections, right? From killing the bill, I've never done the website, pulling up the website like that. I usually go down to the cost per kilowatt, but I like the website idea better because you're actually showing how many times that increase happens, and that's huge. That's
Yep.
huge when you do that, and it makes it clear. It's not like you're just making it up. When the customer sees those actual dates, and it's happened like 2 or 3 years already, that verifies the fact that, hey, these rates are going through the roof, right? So I good job. I really think this is good training, real good training.